season. We know she was dealing with a lot coming off Iowa National Championship game, entering the WNBA. Big time transition. I understand that, but we also have to hold these WNBA referees accountable because they played a big factor in the assault Caitlin Clark took for the 2024 season because they did not call a bunch of calls that should have been fouls, bro.
The WNBA has a major referee problem, and Caitlin Clark's rookie season is where this whole controversy sparked. I'm about to show you footage that's going to completely shift how you see her battles in the league. From dubious technical fouls to blatant missed calls on clear contact, the pattern is hard to ignore. And here's the thing. It matters because no matter how much the Indiana front office improves, whether through coaching changes or bringing in better free agents, nothing will actually change if the officiating stays this way.
Now we know the Indiana Fever front office did everything they had to do, put the right pieces around Caitlin Clark, make sure they make it far in the playoffs, and possibly get a WNBA championship.
Clark's experience isn't just her own struggle. It's exposing bigger issues that could define the future of the entire WNBA.
Prime example, what really made me start thinking about this was the DJ Currington situation. They didn't call nothing on that for her poking Caitlin Clark in the eye, and that really had me thinking, like, how many times did they actually, drop the ball and didn't call stuff against Caitlin?
Have you ever watched a basketball game and felt like the refs were just gunning for one player? That's exactly what went down with Caitlin Clark last season, and I've got the proof to back it up. When Clark entered the WNBA, viewership skyrocketed, record-breaking numbers everywhere. But while all eyes were on Clark, something strange was going on with the way the games were being called.
Caitlin got called for a technical for hitting the back of the backboard. If somebody viciously clotheslined her, we're not getting a call for that. And I just wondered, if they would have done it a little different, just start calling stuff for people assaulting Caitlin Clark, that would have kind of minimized the pressure and minimized the assault I believe she would have took for the 2024 season. And going into this new season, once again, they're held responsible, bro.
The story around Clark's rookie season was all about her adjusting to the physicality of the pro game, but that's a huge oversimplification of what actually went down. Refs consistently turned a blind eye to obvious fouls. She was getting crushed on drives, shoved on jumpers, and roughed up off the ball. Remember that offensive foul call on June 13th against Seattle? Clark made a basic dribble move, yet the whistle blew out of nowhere. The commentators were left scratching their heads. "I'm not seeing the foul there," one said, as the replay showed barely any contact at all.
Second personal. Let's take a look.
I think we ought to be able to see it from this angle. I don't see how that's an offensive foul to me.
Now, that was called an offensive foul on Caitlin Clark. Do we all remember that play? How is that an offensive foul, bro? How remotely is this right here an offensive foul, dog? How? Like, I'm just not getting that. But that was the call that was put on Caitlin Clark.
This wasn't a one-off thing. It was a pattern. Watching her season felt like watching a game where the umpire was clearly biased, like the whole thing was rigged. When you go back and review the footage, it's impossible to ignore. The way Clark was officiated was just different. A'ja Wilson and Breanna Stewart made the same exact moves and got favorable calls, while Clark did the same and ended up with a foul.
I am not letting up on them damn WNBA referees because they are the biggest haters when it comes to Caitlin Clark, bro. I know we got haters everywhere, but nobody is worse than these WNBA referees.
Defenders treated Clark differently because they knew they could get away with more. They bumped her on drives, invaded her landing space on jumpers, and hand-checked her non-stop, all without facing any consequences.
Unnecessary. Kennedy Carter.
Seattle, and all of a sudden, we're pretty close. This has been as close as it's been all second quarter long, 44.
Clark's usage rate and driving frequency should have meant way more free throw attempts for someone with her offensive workload. Averaging just 3.7 free throws a game is ridiculous. Other rookies with similar styles were getting to the line nearly twice as often, yet Clark missed out on countless free throw opportunities that should have been hers.
Because there was also a stat that came out a few weeks ago that said Caitlin Clark received 17% of the WNBA's flagrant fouls this season, and 80% of those flagrant fouls were committed by the Chicago Sky against Caitlin Clark.
The impact wasn't just about the stats. Adjusting to a faster, stronger league is tough enough. But realizing the refs are using a completely different rulebook for you? That messes with your confidence, decision-making, and rhythm. And as the season went on, it only got worse. Once defenders realized they could get away with extra contact, they went after her even harder, with no consequences in sight.
But when you have the face of your league getting nearly 20% of all flagrant fouls called against her, that is an issue. And that's not just an issue that the players have to work out. That is from top down. That goes to the commissioner level. Like, that is the level that needs to control these kinds of things.
The targeting of Caitlin Clark went from bad to straight up dangerous. And I'm not even exaggerating here. There's footage that shows Clark getting completely flattened while driving to the rim, and not a single whistle from the refs. How is that even possible in professional basketball? Take a look at this.
They're going to pick up Caitlin Clark from the second she touches the basketball. That's what Burton did there. All over Caitlin going inside. I mean, that's a foul.
When you watch the games, it's clear. Clark was playing under a whole different rulebook than everyone else. In one jaw-dropping game, she drives toward the basket and gets absolutely leveled. You can literally hear the commentators shouting, "That's a foul!" in disbelief. But the refs, they just stood there, whistle silent, like nothing even happened.
She's coming down the court. Bow. It looked like Morena did that to her, bro. But that's what I'm talking about.
This quickly turned into a disturbing pattern. Clark was knocked to the floor 3 separate times in one game, and not one whistle was blown. It was like watching someone walk a tightrope with the safety net taken away on purpose. Every fan watching at home could see it unfold right before their eyes, screaming at their screens in frustration.
A tag on his page stated, "This has been pretty much the whole game. No call fouls for Caitlin Clark. The WNBA and their officials now know how to screw up a good thing."
The contrast in how players defended Clark compared to other guards tells the whole story. Take Marina Mabrey, for example. Her defensive approach against other players versus how she guarded Clark was like night and day. Mabrey figured out fast that she could get away with a lot more physical contact on Clark without facing any consequences from the refs. Remember that Carrington incident?
You can see Caitlin comes off a screen here. She dribbles back to her right hand, and then she's going for the pass to Aaliyah Boston when DiJonai jumps up, seemingly looking to try to steal the ball, and then hits her in the face. Caitlin is on the ground, the ball goes in the opposite direction, and the Connecticut Sun score. The internet doing what the internet does, they found a second angle to this play, and this is where a lot of fans were saying that this was intentional. It's in slow motion, as you can see here. DiJonai is going up for the ball, she misses, and then her hand bends down like this and goes straight into Caitlin's eye.
Clark got straight up poked in the eye, a dangerous move and a clear foul by any standard. But the refs just swallowed their whistles and didn't even review the play. Meanwhile, in that same quarter, another player got called for barely grazing an opponent's arm. The double standard was so blatant, it felt like watching 2 completely different sports being played on the same court. It got so obvious that even former WNBA refs spoke out. One former ref pointed out that the officiating standard for Clark was noticeably different compared to everyone else. And that's not coming from just some upset fans. That's from someone who knows the rulebook inside and out.
The tag on this will say, "How can the WNBA justify these referees? Caitlin Clark gets blatantly fouled twice, no call. I guess that's the playoffs, but these are bad."
What we witnessed wasn't just a few missed calls. It was a dangerous pattern that put Clark's safety at risk. Each ignored infraction only emboldened defenders further. What began as extra contact quickly escalated into dangerous plays. Some of these actions resembled football tackles more than basketball defense. When refs don't protect the player, the physicality only intensifies. Clark wasn't just facing tough defense. She was in real danger of injury while the refs stood by, letting it happen game after game.
Thank you. I can't wait to give this to my girlfriend.
You don't have a girlfriend, Mike.
If you thought Caitlin Clark was simply a deadly sharpshooter with an intense competitive spirit, think again. She's also a comedy mastermind. From roasting her teammates to delivering perfect one-liners and pulling off surprising antics, Clark knows how to keep the laughs coming. Now, let's dive into 10 of Caitlin Clark's funniest moments that had everyone in stitches. Kicking things off is the time Caitlin Clark made an appearance on SNL's Weekend Update. What made this moment so funny and entertaining was that Caitlin came fully prepared with her own jokes written down. It was a hilarious scene, giving the audience and fans a chance to see her comedic side. Michael also delivered an absolutely perfect introduction to Clark, adding to the laughter.
The University of Iowa announced that basketball star Caitlin Clark will have her jersey retired and replaced with an apron. Well, the WNBA draft is this Monday, and Iowa star Caitlin Clark is expected to be the #1 pick. Here to comment is Caitlin Clark.
The audience absolutely loved having Clark in the spotlight, and things got even funnier when Caitlin Clark fired back at Michael's earlier joke by asking him to read some of the jokes she had written herself. The exchange took the humor to a whole new level.
This year, Caitlin Clark broke the record for three-pointers in a single season, and I have three-pointers for Michael Che. 1B, 2 funnier, 3...
To wrap up the segment, Caitlin Clark took it up a notch by handing Michael an apron, a nod to his earlier joke when he introduced her to the show. The timing was perfect, and she even took the opportunity to roast Michael a little more, adding another layer of comedy to the moment.
Since you're such a big fan, I brought you a souvenir. It's an apron signed by me.
Thank you. I can't wait to give this to my girlfriend.
You don't have a girlfriend, Mike.
Caitlin Clark, everybody!
At this point, the crowd was absolutely roaring with laughter. The whole exchange only added to the humor, showcasing just how funny and entertaining Caitlin Clark really is. Moving on to number 2, aside from those times when she came prepared with jokes, Clark has had plenty of moments where she cracked a joke off the cuff, leaving everyone in stitches with her spontaneous humor. Like that one time, she tried to make a wordplay joke about cheetahs.
Caitlin, pits of your soul, you're a comedian. Do you have any updated jokes for me?
Why don't they take tests at the zoo? There's too many cheetahs.
What made it even funnier was the way the reporter just stood there, totally dazed and amused, while Clark couldn't help but laugh and smile, fully aware of how mischievous and hilarious the moment was. Now, moving on to number 3, Caitlin Clark doesn't keep her jokes limited to interviews. She's also a pro at the friendly roast. During one interview, the WNBA star was on the court when the reporter decided to test their own shooting skills.
I think you have to go now. Come on. Let's see if you can get it there.
Two more. You know what? I have no legs, so I can come in here.
No, I feel confident. Let's see.
I'm wearing this jacket.
Oh.
Ugh,
That's
terrible.
not bad. Get it there.
Oh my God.
You gotta jump.
Even though Clark tried to be supportive, she just couldn't help but laugh and throw in a few playful jabs. And when the reporter tried to blame his terrible shooting on his dress clothes and the tight rims, Caitlin wasn't about to let him off the hook that easily.
Tight rims, I'm telling you.
No, I think that might just be you, honestly.
This moment just made Clark even more lovable thanks to her hilarious personality. Coming in at number 4, Another unforgettable moment that had everyone buzzing about Caitlin Clark's mischievous side was her visit to a goat petting zoo with her teammates. Watching Clark feed the baby goats quickly turned into pure entertainment, and naturally, she turned the whole thing into her own personal comedy show.
All right, relax. Everybody don't fight over me. Don't fight over me, okay? Wait, I don't remember who I bet.
Fans love seeing Caitlin and her teammates bond over something other than basketball. But the real comedy came from the fans themselves, who couldn't resist making the perfect joke: the goat feeding goats. Now, halfway through at number 5, Caitlin Clark's easygoing and cheerful nature really shines when she's around her teammates, both on and off the court. Her bond with Lexi Hull is especially fun to watch. One particularly funny moment happened during an interview when Lexi was answering a question, only for Caitlin to interrupt with a burst of childish laughter at something Lexi said.
What was your intent there to try to make an impact as well as you did tonight?
Thank you. I would say that's kind of my role.
Respectful.
Caitlin Clark's reaction to Lexi Hull's innocent comment had the entire room in stitches.
And take advantage of that. Caitlin? Yeah. We're done. Oh,
Coming in at number 6, Caitlin Clark and Lexi Hull's dynamic duo wasn't just reserved for the court. The two had fans cracking up once again when they pulled up to a Swig drive-thru to grab some fruit and soda drinks.
Playing with vanilla cream instead of coconut cream. Can I have the beach vape too, please?
What made this even more interesting was that Clark was immediately recognized. But when the friendly lady asked if she was really Caitlin Clark, Clark responded with a mischievous grin.
You're Caitlin Clark, right? Maybe.
After being recognized, the owner gifted them golden mugs, guaranteeing them free refills whenever they came back.
Golden mug I want to give you. Golden mug means every time you come through Swig, you just get a free refill.
He said he was going to give us golden mugs. So we'll be back. Yeah.
Woo! At number 7, one thing that stands out about Caitlin Clark is how her teammates not only recognize her playful side, but also encourage it. Of course, sometimes they have to step in to keep her focused, like that time during warm-ups when Katie Lou got the best of Clark, locking in a submission and making her tap out. The whole team couldn't stop laughing. This was a hilarious moment that perfectly captured the fun and bond the team shares. Caitlin later opened up about it, admitting that she can be a bit of a child sometimes with how playful she gets.
She's just she's a kid sometimes, and keeps everything light, but sometimes you just gotta put her in place.
Coming in at number 8, Caitlin Clark's humor isn't confined to basketball. She can turn anything into a comedy show. In one unforgettable moment, Lexi Hull caught Clark delivering a full play-by-play commentary on a Philly baseball game.
And that ball's hit to the shortstop. Rojas throws it over to first base, and that's not going to be enough.
The video quickly went viral, perfectly capturing how effortlessly hilarious and entertaining Clark can be. Watching her switch from WNBA star to baseball commentator had fans in stitches.
The Phillies leading 1-0. We'll be back in a minute with a 30-second break.
It was such a viral moment that it even landed Clark an invitation.
The Phillies have taken her up on her offer to broadcast a game.
At number 9, Caitlin Clark's humor isn't just for her teammates. It extends to her family and friends as well. A perfect example of this is her hilarious moments with her boyfriend, Connor. The two have shared some truly funny interactions.
I just want to sleep for like 3 weeks straight after the season's over.
You want to sleep for 3 weeks straight during the season, too?
That too. I love sleeping. It's awesome.
The thing about Caitlin is how she'll enthusiastically praise and appreciate Connor for being supportive. But she doesn't hesitate to throw friendly jabs at him, even during interviews. Like that time she casually mentioned that, in a shooting competition, she outshoots him every time.
Having some shooting competitions, it gets a little heated. I definitely outshoot him way more than he outshoots me, but he tries to think otherwise.
And finally, at number 10, Caitlin Clark's playful and competitive spirit isn't just for her teammates and friends. It shines through in her family moments too. Her close bond with her family is filled with hilarious exchanges, but one of the best was when she got fouled and started complaining about it, only for her dad to shut it down with a classic, stop complaining response.
Move, and if they're open, she will find them. Martin commits the foul.
And that wraps up our list of Caitlin Clark's funniest moments. From her sharp wit to her playful antics, she never fails to entertain, both on and off the court. Whether she's cracking jokes, roasting teammates, or turning everyday moments into comedy gold, Caitlin proves she's not just a basketball star, she's a natural entertainer. If you enjoyed this compilation, make sure to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more fun and unforgettable Caitlin Clark moments.
But yeah, man, A'ja Wilson, man, commanded $19.
Caitlin Clark doesn't just move the needle, she is the needle. And if you need any more proof of that, the Indiana Fever exhibition game sold out in just about 30 minutes.
A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces just got smacked with a harsh reality check. And let's just say, it ain't pretty. While the Indiana Fever's preseason game sold out in less than an hour, A'ja and her crew are practically handing out tickets like they're free drink coupons at a happy hour. Caitlin Clark isn't just outshining the so-called best player in the WNBA. She's making the reigning MVP look completely irrelevant. Did Wilson forget to send out a group text reminding people she still exists? Did the Aces marketing team get too caught up in a free buffet? Whatever the reason, someone needs to call up Vegas's front office because they might need Clark just to fill the stands. And let's be real, this is making A'ja Wilson downright furious.
This, by the way, is driving A'ja Wilson fans nuts. They're furious that this is happening on the same day. Why are they doing this? Oh my God, don't they realize the impact of A'ja Wilson, blah, blah. What impact? Stop it.
Meanwhile, over in Indiana, it's total chaos. Fever fans are doing everything but camping out just to catch a glimpse of Caitlin Clark in a preseason game. The matchup, held at the University of Iowa, Clark's old stomping grounds, didn't just sell out, it sent ticket prices soaring into the stratosphere. Resale sites are going nuts, with seats going for thousands of dollars. The cheapest ticket left? A casual $400 to $500. That's right, $500 just to see Clark warm up before the real season kicks off. Fans are treating this like it's Game 7 of the WNBA Finals.
But yeah, it's a big situation again. Like Caitlin Clark selling out Iowa, sold out a preseason game. People saying it sold out in 40 minutes. This is within 20 minutes. Like obviously you couldn't get onto the damn website. It's sold out. You could have been trying to refreshing the page and not got tickets. Most of the time, it officially sold out in 40 minutes, but like realistically, it almost crashed the website.
But let's talk about what's going down in Las Vegas, because it's getting downright embarrassing. The so-called powerhouse of the WNBA can't even get people to cough up a measly $19 for a ticket. That's less than what you'd spend on a meal at a decent restaurant. At this point, the Aces might as well start handing out buy one, get one free deals just to fill a few rows. You'd think a team loaded with MVPs, All-Stars, and Olympians wouldn't have to beg people to show up. But here we are.
The Las Vegas Aces. So, let me see how much it's going to bust my pockets to go see the Aces in their first preseason game, man. $19, jeez.
The contrast is insane. In Indiana, fans are battling just to get a seat in the nosebleeds for the chance to see Clark's debut. In Vegas, you could stroll in late, grab some nachos, and still have your pick of premium seats. And here's the truth. This isn't just about ticket prices, it's about demand. People are going above and beyond to be in the building for Clark, while the Aces are over here desperately hoping someone, anyone, shows up to check out their so-called historic team.
I just want to point that out.
as an Indiana Fever fan, I mean, there are people who are willing to pay all kinds of money to get tickets. There are people who are buying merch off, like flying off the shelves, basketball, all kinds of stuff. And they're begging to buy that shoe. That's why I said, Nike, I don't know what the deal is. I'm not into the contract or anything like that. They got something, whatever their agreement is, that's their agreement. I'm saying, though, when that shoe shows up, they better prepare.
Let's put this into perspective. The resale price for 2 courtside Fever tickets to a preseason game could easily cover a round-trip flight to Vegas, a fancy hotel stay, and a pricey steak dinner with enough left over to buy Aces tickets and still have cash in your pocket. That's how insane this gap is. Indiana Fever fans aren't just excited, they're part of a movement. Meanwhile, the Aces are over here practically begging people to take seats like it's some kind of charity event.
Remember, fans are for real Indiana Fever fans, and they buy tickets. They sell out arenas, home and away. They buy merch.
Caitlin Clark didn't just join the WNBA, she flipped the entire league's hierarchy on its head. The Fever, a team that was barely on the map for years, is now the hottest thing in basketball. And the Aces? Well, they just got a brutal reminder that banners don't always fill seats. Clark is the future, and Vegas better hope they don't get left in the dust.
They're sold out, so I really don't know what they're gonna do about this. I guess it's just kind of like one of those missed opportunities, and you know, a lot of people are saying they need to move this to a stadium because there's no doubt in Iowa, if you move this to a stadium, it would be sold out.
A'ja Wilson and the Las Vegas Aces can try all the damage control they want, but the numbers don't lie. There's just no hype. Some will blame it on the market, claiming Vegas has too many entertainment options. But let's be real, Indiana isn't exactly Times Square, yet the Fever are selling out games at record speed, while the Aces are practically handing out tickets like free samples at a grocery store. 2-time champions, stacked with talent, yet their tickets are gathering dust in the bargain bin. That's not a market problem. That's an interest problem.
Did you see how many people showed up to watch Caitlin Clark play golf? With actual attention, economics at play, Caitlin's participation in any league has an existential bearing. Nobody outside of A'ja herself cares about whether A'ja shows up.
A'ja Wilson, the so-called face of the league, can't even get enough fans in the stands to cover the cost of a standard dinner bill. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, fresh off a history-making rookie season, has the entire world locked in to watch her every move. The Fever stock is through the roof, while the Aces are fading into irrelevance day by day. Fans aren't rushing to see Chelsea Gray, Jackie Young, or even Wilson take over. They're lining up, paying top dollar just to catch a glimpse of Caitlin Clark putting on a show.
That's crazy because literally nobody asked, and sources close to A'ja Wilson decided to answer anyway.
Let's be real. When was the last time you saw courtside seats for a reigning MVP going for under $20? That's unheard of. Meanwhile, Clark's games sell out in minutes, and the resale market is going crazy like it's a Super Bowl ticket. It's not even a fair fight. The Caitlin Clark effect is undeniable, and A'ja Wilson and the Aces are just going to have to face it.
I'm gonna go out there and I'm gonna try to be the best. I get y'all saying best player in the world. That's great. It looks great. But I want to be the best person. I want to be the best teammate, because that's how I get the best out of my team.
Think about it. People are out here debating whether Caitlin Clark is changing the game, while A'ja Wilson is struggling to fill an arena like it's open mic night at a coffee shop. The Aces thought they were the hottest team in the WNBA. Then Clark showed up, and suddenly, the entire league shifted to revolve around her.
Because Indiana Fever fans support, not just by running their mouth or running their fingers, they actually do something. And those who may not be able to afford it, they want to do something. And so this is just me saying, way to go, Fever fans. And we love, listen, remember how it was like nobody wants to go play in Indiana? Nobody wants to play with Caitlin Clark. Those fans. And we came to find out when free agency showed up, everybody wanted to go to Indiana and play for the Indiana Fever and play with Caitlin Clark. And when they got here, started praising the fans.
Aces fans love to pull the back-to-back champions card. But here's the real question. What's the point of being a dominant team if nobody's watching? You could stroll into an Aces game 5 minutes before tip-off and still snag a front row seat like it's a clearance sale. Meanwhile, trying to get a ticket to see Caitlin Clark play is like trying to score front row seats to a Beyoncé concert, gone in seconds. There are levels to this, and Caitlin Clark is showing she's in a league of her own. The WNBA's future has arrived, and the Aces just got left behind.
I shouldn't be surprised, and yet I'm still surprised because Indiana Fever preseason, not even like preseason, exhibition game, where the Indiana Fever are going to play the Brazilian national team at Cover Hawkeye Arena, Caitlin's college facility, sold out. They went on sale this morning at 9 a.m. for Fever season ticket holders, Iowa donors, and Iowa season ticket holders for women's basketball. And then general admission was supposed to go on sale tomorrow at 9 a.m. I'm hearing rumblings of like maybe scalpers got in, like the secondary market is already crazy, but it was sold out and a bunch of season ticket holders couldn't even get their tickets. Iowa women's basketball posted this on their Instagram and on their Facebook just a few minutes ago that, hey, it's already sold out. No point in trying to get tickets tomorrow for the general public because you can't.
Caitlin Clark isn't just playing basketball, she's rewriting the entire sports landscape. She's turning casual fans into die-hard supporters, with people who've never watched a WNBA game suddenly rushing to buy jerseys, lining up for tickets, and filling arenas they didn't even know existed. Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson's games? It's like watching a midweek high school scrimmage. Half-empty seats, concession stands hawking 2-for-1 popcorn deals like it's a garage sale. Aces fans can scream about disrespect all they want, but the truth is simple. If the demand was actually there, the ticket sales would tell a different story.
What A'ja Wilson just did was unprecedented. I mean, on so many levels. She's arguably, allegedly, the reason Caitlin Clark was assaulted the entire 2024 basketball season in the W. I mean, what A'ja Wilson just did is really like there's no coming back from this.
A'ja Wilson's squeaky clean, positive vibes only persona just took a massive hit, and honestly, it's about time people started noticing the double standard. For months, she played the role of the calm, collected veteran, while her fans were waging war on Caitlin Clark over the Nike signature shoe deal. But now, the truth is out. During the reveal of her highly anticipated shoes, A'ja casually dropped a bombshell. She'd had a Nike signature deal in the works for 2 years. 2 entire years, all while her fans were out there demanding justice, accusing Nike of blatant disrespect, and painting Caitlin as the undeserving rookie golden child. A'ja's deal was already locked in, and yet she kept quiet. She said nothing while her supporters created chaos.
Wilson was oddly silent, but complicit. All right, why was she complicit? Because, well, she knew she was getting a signature shoe for 2 years, and she let Caitlin Clark take all that hate.
Let's take a quick trip down memory lane. Social media nearly exploded when Nike announced that Caitlin Clark would be getting a signature shoe. The big question on everyone's mind was, how could they give her one before A'ja? That became the rallying cry. And where was A'ja in all of this? Silent, calm, strategic. She threw out a few cryptic tweets about respect, kept her followers guessing, and allowed the chaos to build. She knew exactly what people were saying. She saw the narrative unfolding, and she did nothing to stop it. Remember when she said this?
A'ja Wilson is her name. Quote, "It doesn't matter what we all do as black women, we're still going to be swept underneath the rug. That's why it boils my blood when people say it's not about race, because it is."
Let's be real. If the roles were reversed, and Caitlin had a shoe deal in the works for 2 years, but allowed the world to drag A'ja through the mud without stepping in to correct the record, she would be absolutely crucified. Articles would be written non-stop, and the talking heads would have a field day. But when A'ja does it, suddenly it's all smiles and, oh, she's just so humble. No, that's not humility, it's manipulation. A'ja allowed Caitlin to take all the heat, using it to fuel a sympathy campaign built on a lie.
Do you have any ideas what you would want your future sneaker to look like?
I think the biggest thing for me is just I would love a low top shoe. I play in a low top shoe, so that's something that I would love to have carry over, and something that looks good. That's so key to me.
The truth is, A'ja Wilson could have ended this entire drama with just one tweet. Something as simple as, "My time is coming. Don't worry about me." That's all it would have taken. the mob would have calmed down and the attacks would have faded away. But she didn't say anything, because staying silent worked in her favor. She allowed her fan base, and let's be honest, a significant portion of the WNBA media, to paint Caitlin Clark as the villain, the rookie stealing all the credit, while she played the part of the overlooked underdog. It was all a performance.
A'ja Wilson, who? Why? Yeah, she's some WNBA player, who? No, she's one of the all-time greatest players ever. Why?
And now that the shoe has finally dropped, literally, all those "how dare Nike." Warriors are scrambling to rewrite history, but here's the twist. The disrespect never came from Nike. It came from A'ja and the people around her who allowed the false narrative to spiral out of control. Meanwhile, Caitlin Clark, who's done nothing but elevate the league and attract millions of new fans, has had to take hits from all sides. On the court, on social media, from players, and even from legends. And through it all, she's kept her head down, letting her game do all the talking.
And these WNBA fans that did not want to see Caitlin Clark come in and do what she did, which was dominate the league. Led the league in assists as a rookie. After the season, I think I counted she broke something in the neighborhood of 63 records last year. Either rookie records or just flat records by anybody, not even a rookie. And all these fans have been mad. And all the while, A'ja Wilson sat back and was just plenty happy to play the victim. She could have come out and made some kind of a statement that would have called off the dogs.
Meanwhile, A'ja Wilson, who could have easily set the record straight at any point, chose silence. And that silence spoke louder than anything. It sent a clear message to her fan base. Go ahead, it said. Let them believe I've been slighted. It said, let Caitlin take the heat. And that's what makes this whole saga so frustrating. Because it's not just about shoes. It's about the way Caitlin Clark has been treated from the very start.
And so for Nike to put her in the position where she then has to go on social media and kind of cool her fans and like urge them to be patient and almost like defend Nike, it's such a disappointment, but it's not a surprise because Nike has done it before.
Instead of being embraced as the generational talent she is, Caitlin Clark faced jealousy and resistance. Not because she did anything wrong, but because she made the league too visible, too quickly. Her impact was undeniable, and instead of celebrating it, people tried to tear her down. A'ja Wilson could have been the bridge, the leader, the example, but she chose vibes over values.
How could they give Caitlin a shoe before they give A'ja one? Oh, how could they do this? How could they treat A'ja like this? Two-time MVP at the time, just before she even won the damn third one. They is wrong for doing this. You want to know?
And let's not act like the timing of that Super Bowl ad was just a coincidence. Nike ran a huge campaign celebrating female athletes and somehow forgot to include the most influential woman in basketball right now, Caitlin Clark. Clark, whose jersey sales shattered records. Clark, whose games led the league in viewership. Clark, who brought in fans who had never even cared about the WNBA before, but she was nowhere to be seen. Almost as if someone didn't want her in the spotlight, at least not for a little bit longer.
You want to know what I'm selling? I'm selling greatness! A'ja Wilson, 3-time MVP. We got Jordan Childs, we got Juju Watkins, we got Sha'Carri Richardson, and we got Arena Sabalenka.
Champion.
Hustling is not easy, but I love it. Sabrina! I know you want a tea. Thinking about it? You're thinking about it. They're gonna go fast. Kind of like Sha'Carri. I accept card. Where's the card? Come on.
Oh wait, but what's in that box?
These don't come out till March. They may or may not be shirts, but if I tell you, I'm gonna have to kill you. Oh, you want one of these? Nike.com. Who wants a t-shirt?
Nike really thought they could pull one over on us with that last-minute voiceover trick, as if we wouldn't notice. But fans are too sharp for that. We all saw it. It wasn't some editing accident, it was intentional. That awkward voiceover was essentially Nike saying, we love the revenue she brings in, but let's keep her out of the spotlight. Subtle? Not even close.
My favorite thing of all. So let's take a listen to this. Nike actually put this one out after the fact.
You want to know what I'm selling? Rookie of the Year, Caitlin Clark. I know you want a tee.
Okay.
Nike.com.
They re-recorded it. Like, that's not even, I mean that. That's like, listen to it.
And how does that make any sense? We're talking about Caitlin Clark here, the woman who hasn't just moved the needle. She is the needle. She's bringing in NBA-sized crowds, skyrocketing TV ratings, and completely redefining what's possible for women's basketball. Yet somehow, the WNBA and some of its most established names keep treating her like just another player on the roster. They're quick to cash in on the wave she's created, but when it comes to acknowledging her impact, crickets, silence, maybe even a little side-eye.
Not looking good for Nike yet again, dog. I don't even know how many videos I'm gonna make today about Nike, but it looked like Nike is definitely the star of the day. All started with the Super Bowl commercial, them snubbing Caitlyn, them putting Caitlyn in, them fixing the commercial, them dropping Asia's shoe. Now, come to find out, A'ja Wilson has single-handedly killed the WNBA media credibility forever. Yes, oh my goodness, these women was lying. Oh God almighty. They made such a big deal over Caitlin Clark getting a shoe deal over A'ja.
Let's be real. Caitlin Clark should be the face of every WNBA campaign, every endorsement push, and every highlight reel. But instead of celebrating her success, the league has chosen to simply tolerate her presence. She's been treated like an outsider who stumbled into the party and is now outshining the hosts. And that cold shoulder? It's not just coming from execs or marketing departments, it's coming from the top players too. Enter A'ja Wilson. A'ja didn't need to be openly hostile. She didn't tweet anything nasty or start a public feud, but she also didn't do a thing when her fan base relentlessly went after Clark the moment Caitlyn landed her Nike deal. Chaos erupted on social media, with people questioning Caitlyn's worth, her resume, and her entire place in the league. Meanwhile, A'ja just sat there, perfectly quiet, perfectly strategic, letting the storm rage on while sipping her tea in the background.
Or as alive, but there has been a confirmation. There has been, well, as good as a confirmation from the draft. And it's unfortunate they leaked the expansion draft, or at least leaked part of the expansion draft.
As the new franchise made its much-anticipated entrance, speculation soared about how the Valkyries would build their inaugural roster. Naturally, Caitlin Clark became a focal point in these discussions, celebrated for her exceptional scoring prowess, long-range three-point shooting, and strong leadership on the court. Caitlin has emerged as one of the brightest stars in women's basketball today. The potential addition of her talents to the Valkyries has generated tremendous buzz and anticipation among enthusiasts and analysts alike.
All right, there we go. We have our first 4 names of the reveal, and there they are. And just in case you didn't pick up on it, these names are being announced in alphabetical order from the teams of the W, so there's no ranking here in terms of who's most important. Your first thought?
In case you missed it, these selections are being announced in alphabetical order based on the teams, so there's no ranking in terms of importance. At first glance, you might assume Caitlin Clark would be among them, but when the draft results were revealed, an unexpected twist occurred. The Valkyries chose not to draft Caitlin Clark. This surprising decision left both fans and analysts stunned, igniting debates across social media platforms and sports broadcasts. The Golden State Valkyries' participation in the expansion draft marked a pivotal moment for the WNBA. It's a rare opportunity for a new team to build its roster from the ground up, and anticipation was high as fans watched to see their selections. While many anticipated bold moves, the decision to bypass Caitlin Clark, widely regarded as one of the league's brightest stars, created a wave of controversy and confusion within the basketball community.
As for the names on the back of the jerseys, we do have 4 more names that are about to be revealed in just a moment, but we do want to do a little table set of the Valkyries' notable games during what will be their inaugural season. They'll open the season in the Chase Center against the Sparks in a battle for Cali, some other marquee matchups as well. Defending champ Liberty May 27th, and they've got the Aces and Fever.
Her standout performance at Iowa made her a household name, and her seamless transition to the WNBA only heightened her impact. As a high-volume scorer and talented playmaker, she possesses the unique ability to draw crowds and secure victories. So, why did the Valkyries pass on drafting her when they had the opportunity? The reason stems from a combination of strategic planning, roster-building priorities, and the complexities of managing star talent within a newly established team. She is more than just a prolific scorer. She is a transformative player. Her knack for sinking three-pointers from seemingly unreachable distances and her exceptional court vision make her an invaluable asset. Additionally, she exemplifies leadership both on and off the court, frequently taking control during pivotal moments of the game. Any team would be fortunate to acquire her talents, or so it appears. However, constructing a new franchise goes beyond assembling star players. It involves ensuring the right fit, fostering chemistry, and implementing long-term strategies. This vision necessitated selecting players who could offer versatility and balance to their roster. Opting to draft a superstar like Caitlin Clark might have seemed like a straightforward way to make headlines, but it could have interfered with the delicate task of forming a unified and cohesive team structure. A prime example of the Valkyries' strategic selection is Temi Fagbenle. As an experienced center, Fagbenle brings defensive strength and leadership qualities that are crucial for any team seeking to establish its identity. However, her selection sparked surprise because it meant that Caitlin Clark remained with the Indiana Fever. Speculation among fans suggested that Fagbenle's departure from the Fever was closely linked to Clark's increasing influence within the team. Her on-court presence attracts media coverage, drives merchandise sales, and energizes fan communities. For the Indiana Fever, she serves as a cornerstone in their rebuilding efforts. Conversely, for the Valkyries, acquiring a player of her caliber might have introduced significant challenges. Effectively managing a star athlete requires substantial resources, both financially and in terms of team dynamics. Clark's playing style necessitates that the team's offense is centered around her. She thrives as a high-usage player who relies on having the ball in her hands. While this strategy can be effective for established teams with well-defined systems, it poses risks for a new franchise striving to find its balance. The Valkyries likely aimed to prevent their entire identity from hinging on a single player, regardless of her talent. Instead, their focus was probably on assembling a more balanced roster, capable of evolving into a cohesive unit that can compete comprehensively without depending excessively on any one individual.
From the Atlanta Dream, the Golden State Valkyries select center Ileana Rupert.
Another layer to this decision is the Valkyries' emphasis on defense and versatility. Players like Fagbenle, Alana R., and Monique Billings offer flexibility across multiple positions, enabling the team to adjust to various matchups. While drafting Clark might have been tempting, it could have constrained their ability to build a well-rounded roster. Under the expansion draft rules, teams had the option to protect certain players. Unsurprisingly, the Fever chose to safeguard Caitlin Clark, effectively removing her from the Valkyries' selection pool. This move came at a price, leaving players like Fagbenle unprotected. For the Fever, this was a strategic gamble. They prioritized securing their star player, understanding that losing other valuable role players might be an unavoidable consequence. Protecting Clark underscores her significance to the Fever's future. She's not merely a player, but the cornerstone of their franchise. Losing her would have severely hampered their rebuilding efforts. Nevertheless, some fans believe that leaving Fagbenle unprotected was a misstep, as she is a dependable contributor who brings both experience and grit to the team. By passing on high-profile players like Caitlin Clark, they signaled their commitment to constructing a team based on depth, teamwork, and strategic foresight. This method may not create immediate headlines, but it lays the groundwork for long-term success. Naturally, not everyone concurs with this strategy. Critics argue that the Valkyries forfeited an opportunity to secure a generational talent. Caitlin Clark's ability to attract fans and elevate her teammates makes her a rare asset in the WNBA. Opting out of drafting her could be viewed as a risky move, especially for a new team aiming to establish itself in a competitive environment. However, there's a valid argument supporting the Valkyries' choice. Building a successful franchise requires time and meticulous planning. While star players like Caitlin Clark can transform a team, they also introduce complexities both on and off the court. For the Valkyries, the expansion draft was about more than just acquiring talent. It was about establishing a foundation for a team capable of competing at the highest levels. As the Valkyries gear up for their inaugural season, all eyes will be on their roster decisions. Will their strategic approach yield positive results, or will they rue the decision to pass on players like Caitlin Clark? The outcome may not be immediate, but one thing is clear: this decision will be closely examined. Understanding the Valkyries' choice to forgo Caitlin Clark requires looking at the broader context. How will this impact the future of the Valkyries and Caitlin Clark's role with the Indiana Fever? Launching a new franchise carries the inherent pressure to make a significant impact quickly. Acquiring a player like Caitlin Clark would undoubtedly generate headlines and draw fans to the arena. However, a franchise's success isn't solely determined by hype. It's about winning games and cultivating a sustainable culture. The Valkyries appear to have prioritized balance over star power. A key aspect of this decision revolves around Caitlin Clark's compatibility with a new system. Clark is renowned for her dynamic, high-energy playing style. She's a high-usage player who excels in systems designed to highlight her individual talents. However, for a nascent team like the Valkyries, selecting a player of Clark's magnitude could result in a lopsided roster. The team might feel compelled to build entirely around her, potentially compromising depth and versatility. Historically, teams that secure elite talent early on often set themselves up for sustained success. Clark's ability to draw double teams, stretch defenses, and control the game's tempo makes her a generational talent. By passing on her, the Valkyries are essentially betting on their ability to discover comparable talent in the future, a gamble that may or may not pay off.